Chapter 46 Sri Sai Charitra English Baba's Gaya Trip Story of the Two Goats. This chapter describes Shama's trip to Kashi, Prayag and Gaya and how Baba in the form of his portrait was there ahead of him. It also describes Baba reminiscences of the past birth of two gods. Preliminary Blessed O Sai are your feet. Blessed is your remembrance and blessed is your darshan, which liberates us from the bond of karma. Though your form is invisible to us now, still, if the devotees believe in you, that get living experiences from you. By an invisible and subtle thread, you draw your devotees from far and near to your feet and embrace them like a kind and loving mother. The devotees do not know where you are, but you so skillfully pull the wires. An act of pulling wires, the use of influence to manipulate persons or organizations as political organizations for one's own ends, to exert influence behind the scenes, especially though personal connections, that they ultimately realize that you are behind them to help and support them. The intelligent, wise, and learned folk fall into the pit of the sansar on account of their egoism, but you save by your power the poor, simple, devout persons, inwardly and invisibly. You play all the game but show that you are not concerned with it, while you do things but pose yourself as a non doer. Nobody ever knows your life. The best course, therefore, for us to is to surrender our body, speech, mind off your feet, and always chant your name to destroy our sins. You have fulfilled the wishes of the devotees unto those who are without any desire. You give bliss supreme. The chanting of your sweet name is the easiest sadhana for devotees. By this sadhana, our sins, rajas and tamas qualities will vanish. The sattva qualities and righteousness will gain predominance, and along with this discrimination, DASCRIMINATION, Vivaksha Pakshapatamu, dispassion, Vairagyamu, DASPASSION, and knowledge will follow. Then we shall abide in ourself and our Guru, who are one and the same. This is what is called complete surrender to the Guru. The only sure sign of that is that our mind gets calm and peaceful. The greatness of this surrender, devotion, and knowledge is unique. For peace, non-attachment, fame, and salvation, etc., come in its wake. If Baba accepts a devotee, he follows him and stands by him and day and night at his home or abroad. Let the devotee go anywhere he likes. Baba is there ahead of him in some form, in an inconceivable, Tilskoleni manner. The following story illustrates this Gaya trip. Sometime after Kaka Sahib Dikshit was introduced to Sai Baba, he decided to perform the thread ceremony of his eldest son Babu at Nagpur at about the same time. Nana Sahib Chandorkar decided to perform the marriage ceremony in his eldest son at Gwalior. Both Dikshit and Chandorkar came to Shirdi and lovingly invited Baba for these functions. Baba asked them to take Shama at his representative when he was pressed to come in person. Baba told them to take Shama with them and said, after doing Benares and Prayag, we would be ahead of Shama. Now mark these words, for they show Baba's all-pervasiveness. After taking the permission of Baba, Shama decided to go to Nagpur and Gwalior for these functions and ceremonies, and then to Kashi, Prayag and Gaya. Appa Kote made up his mind to accompany him. They both went first to Nagpur for the thread ceremony. Kaka Sahib Dikshit gave Sharma 200 rupees for his expenses. Then they went to Gwalior for the marriage ceremony. There Nana Sahib Chandorkar gave Shama rupees 100 and his Vyahi relative, my Mr. Jathar, gave him also 100 rupees and his Vyahi relative Mr. Jathar gave him also 100 rupees. Then Shama went to Kashi and then to Ayodhya. He was well received in Jatar, beautiful temple of Lakshmi Narayanan at Kashi, Varanasi or Benares, and in the Ram Mandir at Ayodhya by Jaitar manager. The Shama court stayed for 21 days. in Ayodhya and 2 months in Kashi, Benares. Then they left for Gaya. In the train, they felt little uneasy on hearing that plague was prevailing in Gaya. A night they alighted at Gaya station and stayed in Dharmashala. In the morning, the Gayawala, the priest who arranges for the lodging and boarding of the pilgrims, came there and said, "The pilgrims have already started. You had better make haste." Shyama casually asked him whether there was a plague in Gaya. "No," said the Gayawala. "Please come out without any fear or anxiety and see yourself." Then they went with him and stayed in his house, which was a big and spacious vada. Shyama was pleased with the accommodation provided to him, but what pleased him most was the beautiful big portrait of Baba fixed in the central and front portions of the building. On seeing this portrait, Shyama was overwhelmed with emotion. He remembered Baba's words, "After doing Kashi and Prayag, we would be ahead of Shyama," and burst into tears. He stood on end. His throat was choked, CHOKED, ఉక్కిరిబిక్కిరి అయ్యాడు, and he began to sob, SOB, ఏడుపు. The Gayawala thought that he was afraid of plague prevailing there and therefore was crying. But Shama inquired from him how he got Baba's portrait there. He replied that he had 200 or 300 agents working at Manmad and Pontabe for looking after the convenience of the pilgrims to Gaya, and from them he heard about Baba's fame. Then about 12 years ago he went to Shirdi and took Baba's darshan. There he was attracted by Baba's darshan. There he was attracted by Baba's portrait hung in Shama's house, and with Baba's permission Shama gave it to him. This was the same portrait. Shama then remembered this incident. The Gayawala's joy no bounds when he learned that same Shama who obliged him before was his guest now. Then they both exchanged love and service and were most delighted and happy. The Gayawala gave him a royal welcome. He was a very rich man. He sat in a planquin, PLANQUIN, Pallaki, and made Shama ride an elephant and attended to his comforts and convenience. The moral of this story is that Baba's words came out true to the letter, and undoubted was his love towards the devotees. But leave this aside, he also loved all creatures equally, for he felt that he was one with the following story will illustrate this. Two goats. Baba was once returning from Lendi when he saw a flock of goats. Two of them attracted his attention. He went to them, caressed and fondled them, and bought them for rupees 32. The devotees were surprised at this conduct of Baba. The thought that Baba was duped, మోసగించబడ్డాడు, DUPED, in this bargain, as the goats would fetch 2 rupees each, at the most 3 rupees or 4 or 8 for both. They began to take Baba to task for this, but Baba kept calm and cool. Shama and Tatya asked Baba for an explanation. He said he did not care to store money, as he had no home, family, or to folk after. He asked them to purchase at this cost 4 seeds of dal, lentil, lentil, pappu, and feed the goats. After this was done, Baba returned the goats to the owner of the flock and gave out to the following reminiscences and story of the goats. "Oh, Shama and Tacha, you're thinking that I have been deceived in this bargain? No, listen to the story. In the former birth, they were human beings and had good fortune to be with me and sit by my side. They were uterine బ్రదర్స్, UTERIN, ఒకే తల్లికి జన్మించిన అన్నదమ్ములు, లవింగ్ ఈచ్ అదర్ initially, but later on they became enemies. The elder brother was an ideal fellow, while the younger was an active chap and earned a lot of money. The farmer became greedy and jealous and wanted to kill his younger brother and take away his money. They forgot their fraternal relation and began to quarrel with each other. The elder brother resorted to many devices to kill his younger brother, but all his attempts failed. Thus, they became deadly enemies, and finally, on one occasion, the elder gave a deadly blow with a big stick on the latter's head, while the latter struck the farmer with an axe, with the result that both fell dead on spot. As a result of their actions, they were both born as goats as they passed by it them and rest recognized them and remembered their past history. By taking pity on them, I wanted to feed them and give them rest in comfort, and for this reason I spent all the money for which you blame me. As you did not like any bargain, I sent them back to their shepherd. Such was Sai's love for the goats. Bo to Sri Sai, peace be to all. Srinivasa Vijayate.